Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Woodpeckers Deep Dive. My name is Jeff Farris. Welcome to my shop. Last episode, we talked about laying out a clock, and that was wildly popular. Lots of good comments on YouTube about that one. And so one of the comments was laying out the numbers on the clock was great, but how did you do that ellipse? And so today I'm going to show you how to lay out an ellipse using Woodpeckers Precision Triangle set. All right, let's get started. So an ellipse is an elongated round object that has two different radii. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to establish the center of our board. So I'm just going to measure diagonal to diagonal. And that is the center of our layout. Now, I know from the size of my board here that I have enough room to have an ellipse on here that is 11 inches wide and 15 inches long. Okay, so that's radii of 5.5 and 7.5. Now to lay this out, the first thing I need is a square to lay out two perpendicular lines that cross at the exact center. So we're going to go like this, come across like that. So to mark this ellipse, all I need is a piece of scrap stock with a hole in it for a pencil, like a beam compass, and two axis points. One that is my minor diameter, 5.5 inches, and one that is my major diameter, 7.5 inches. So what I'm going to do is lay out the center line of my piece of scrap, drill a hole for my pencil, and my two axis points. Once we get the hole for the pencil, we'll lay out our axis points 5.5 and 7.5 inches away from that. So this is going to be where my pencil goes. So we're going to set that as our 0 point, and then we're going to come down from there 5.5 inches for our 11-inch dimension and 7.5 inches for our 15-inch dimension. Now we just have to drill 3 holes. So I sized these holes for a couple of big diameter nails that I had. What you want is anything that's a relatively round, smooth object, and you want to get rid of a point. If it's got a point, grind or cut it off, because this is going to be down close to but not against our material, and you don't want something that's going to scratch it up. So just go ahead and grind off the head of a couple of nails. And I sized my hole so that's a nice snug fit. In fact, I'm going to have to drive it through to get it in there. And that is the next thing we need to do, is get those ready to go. So we're just going to come to the edge of our stock here and we want that through just a little bit less than the thickness of our triangle. Just about like that. Now we'll just do the other one. Now I learned this trick from a magazine article, and they said to do it with a framing square. But my framing square is pretty rough along the edges. It's seen a lot of miles and it isn't quite ready for this kind of precision work. But you need a flat square, and that's why I thought of the precision triangles. What we're going to do is locate this right on each one of the 4 quadrants to mark our corner. All right, and to do that, it's going to be a lot easier if we get rid of the 4-inch and just use the 6 by itself. Now, I need that triangle to rest right on that square line, but I need it to make sure that it doesn't move. And I don't want to actually drive or screw it into my board because that's going to end up being some part of my finished project. So I'm just going to double face tape it down in each one of the quadrants one at a time. So we'll start out with this one. And it doesn't need to be a lot because it's only for long enough to make the marks. But it is critical that you get it right on the square lines. Okay, we're ready to lay out our first corner. Okay, so what we're going to do is always keep our 2 axis points against the square. And we come around the corner, watch this end where the pencil's going to be, and you can see how that's going to move in an elliptical arc. Okay, so all we have to do is just get to the point where this is straight up and down. Just move forward until you come off the edge, and then keep both pins against the square all the way around to the other quadrant. Now, we're just going to move the square to the next one and keep going around. So right as you're coming to the end of each one of those arcs, it's really hard to stay right on the end of the square. So you may find that you have to kind of redraw the very corners, but they won't be real hard to connect the dots on that. So now we're ready to take that to the bandsaw. We'll cut it out and then go to the sander and clean up the edge to the line. So just to recap, remember what we're doing here with our board. We have the point for our pencil and then our 2 radii, the small diameter and the large diameter. Small diameter is the small dimension of your ellipse. Large diameter is the long dimension of your ellipse, and you want half the diameter to give you the radius, and that's what you do for your 2 pins on your board. And I'm sure some of you probably caught me using both the 4 and the 6 in there. I grabbed the little one time. Doesn't really matter. It's got plenty of room to do this. So if you bought them individually and you have the little one, you can still do this project. Hey folks, thanks so much for watching Deep Dive this week. Hope you enjoyed this look at how to lay out ellipses using our precision triangles. If you enjoyed the show today, be sure and give us a thumbs up. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel, and when you do subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know about every one of our videos right when they come out. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time on Deep Dive.